FM, The Source.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful looking Friday. Hope you're doing well. If you could improve your life by going back to school, then we have some information for you right now. Mike Fallon is here from Webster University. I forgot which school you were with. And this program is called Higher Education Happenings. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you.
Keeping warm?
Yeah.
Chilly out there.
You know, I think I got used to it.
Yeah?
I think, yeah. Either that or my mind says it's spring, so it's not cold. I don't know.
It's been a chilly year, so maybe you're used to it.
Yeah? Do you, of all the places you've visited, what's the coldest place you've ever been to?
Oh, yeah. Eastern Europe in the winter.
Is that right?
Oh, it's horrible.
Is it colder because...
It's chilly. It's windy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, everyone just
You don't want to go
bundles
back?
up. I mean, I'll go back. You know me. I'll go anywhere. But yeah, it was one of the coldest trips. It's where you wear, and you know, from being from Florida, you never put like long johns on or thermals on underneath your jeans. Right. There, you're like, okay, where are my thermals? I'm gonna put those on.
That's true. When I was in Prague and then in Vienna, November and December, we're like 5 layers. You're from Florida. Been in Florida
The closest
too long.
I've ever been to Vienna is the sausage. That's about it for me.
You should go. It's lovely.
I should go.
Yes.
I should go. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Tina, how you doing over there?
Tina in the corner.
In the corner. Tina in the corner.
She's in timeout.
So what is our topic? Yes.
Today our topic is paying for college.
Paying
for college.
You have to pay for that?
Yeah, you got to pay for college one way or the other. And we'll talk about different ways of paying for college, kind of the process on how to start to think about paying for college.
Right.
And we have a great lineup, so we'll just do some quick introductions.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I'm Mike Fallon. I'm the campus director at Webster University in Ocala.
Patrick Hoffman. I'm the director of financial aid at College of Central Florida.
And I'm Crystal Flynn. I'm the success coach at UCF Connect Ocala campus.
And Tina over in the corner.
And Tina in timeout.
So when we live our lives and we look back at 10 years ago, we say, oh my gosh, I wish back then I should have done this. I wonder how many kids in high school are looking at college and saying, I should have done better because my classmate is getting a scholarship and I'm not. Is that part of this? I mean, when you talk about paying for something, doesn't it all start like at 7th grade or something?
You have to think ahead a little bit, I would say, but not always. There's options out there. There are additional ways to fund college, even if you weren't prepared fully for college. But, starting off as a kid or as a parent with a smaller child or, even a medium-aged child, you can start saving. There are options to save. And then
how good is that program? What is your opinion on the prepaid Florida? What is that? Is that good?
I'm not really familiar with that.
They're outstanding, I would say.
Oh, they're outstanding.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to get involved with,
I would
right?
say so. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah.
It all starts with saving and preparing for the future.
Nice. Yeah. So and then as you're rounding out your high school days, and you can start looking at scholarships and applying for financial aid. I think really the first step, and I'll see if maybe our colleague here at CF can talk about it, is looking at your FAFSA, which is your free application for student financial aid. We talked about this on the show before.
I know. And when every time we bring it up, it brings back the memory of when my son was applying to schools.
Yeah, it's really important. Really the parents have to participate in it at that level. But it's something that even if you continue on through college and grad school on your own, you're going to get really familiar with FAFSA because you're going to be really utilizing it.
Does this apply to the late in life college goers?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pretty much anyone that's going to apply for any type of financial aid is going to have to go through FAFSA.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not as daunting as everybody thinks it is, filling out the FAFSA. The Department of Education's made it a little easier over the years with the use of the data retrieval tool that will import students' and parents' tax information directly into the FAFSA.
Oh, that is nice, yeah.
So it's a little easier than pulling out your tax returns and having to look at line 37 for your taxes paid and filling that in individually. But it's gotten a little easier, and the department in the future is looking at better ways to improve the process. They're thinking of introducing a app. Everything is technology based nowadays, and the Department of Education has been rather outdated for a number of years. old-fashioned with filling out paper FAFSAs, and then they introduced online FAFSA completion, and now the use of the data retrieval tool, and looking into the future with a new app to help the process a little easier.
Now, is the money that's available through a program like FAFSA, what does the F stand for again? Is it federal or Florida?
Free.
Free. Oh, okay.
So if you're paying for it, you're in the wrong site.
Okay, well, say like prepaid Florida, that one, it has the word Florida in it. Does that mean the money only goes to Florida schools? Or could you go to a school in Michigan if you wanted?
So the Florida prepaid program, yes.
That one is, okay.
That's for state schools within the state of Florida.
But-
So every state has different financial mechanisms that you can use if you're planning ahead and saving ahead, but that's how that money is used. So the application that he's talking about, it's actually an application that you give all of your household income information, and then the schools receive that and balance it to what the criteria are for different kinds of financial support, whether it's loans or grants or scholarships and things like that. So in order to qualify for that, the school has to know what the funding is from the household to see,
Gotcha,
where you fall in line and to see what you qualify for.
Okay. And so the different programs, do the different programs look at the grades, like we were talking about at the very beginning, how you've done in school?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first step is applying for financial aid. Then there's the whole maintaining financial aid aspect, meeting satisfactory.
Maintaining. So
You have to
year 2, you might not get it.
You have to maintain academic progress standards, completion rates, GPA, in order to maintain financial aid.
Okay. Well, that only seems fair, right?
So if you're qualifying for student loans, then you have to get good grades, you have to stay in and pass successfully the classes you've registered for. You can't do really, really poorly and then automatically assume that you're going to get more money to continue kind of on that path.
Right.
But you also have lots of support, so if things are not going the way you'd hope, each one of our schools has representatives that can kind of help you get back on track. But you do have to stay in kind of a positive level in order to keep qualifying. But there could be scholarships, when you asked about grades, there could be scholarships that are specifically merit-based and GPA-focused, that you have to be, higher achieving in certain fields to qualify.
This is very coincidental. This article from USA Today talks about the 5 things to know about the post-millennial generation. And number 2 of the 5 is they believe that going to college is important, but worry about affording it. The little paragraph says 8 in 10 say higher education makes it easier to have a career, and the overwhelming majority of those now in middle school or high school say they plan to go to college, but close to 2/3 of them say they aren't sure they'll be able to afford it. So.
We get that question all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah. What are the income parameters to qualify for financial aid? And it's always based on, or what we always say at CF or any financial aid office would say, you have to fill out the FAFSA first to see what you qualify for. There's no, set, cutoff point per se. You have to fill out the application, and from there we determine what type of package you're eligible for, what type of grants, which are free aid that you don't need to repay, and then Crystal talked about student loans. Scholarships are a part of financial aid, so there's lots of options out there.
So we always want everybody to do everything for us. I would think that a school or somebody offering money would want to see somebody who does things for themselves. Right?
Yes, the student has to take the initiative to fill out the application. We can't do that for them.
Okay, so what do? They go to the school?
They go to the website.
The website, okay.
Yeah.
FAFSA.ed.gov, and they use their FSA ID to log in to the site, and they fill in general information, and then they have to fill in their income information, which I said, the data retrieval tool is there to help complete that section. They have some more general questions to answer, and then they submit it. And then once they add our school codes, the institutions receive a copy of that.
Are there areas of study that those who will dole out the money prefer that you are shooting for? Do you know what I mean? Like, do people who want to be doctors get a different, are they looked at differently than somebody who wants to be an artist, for example? No?
I think down the road, the maximum borrowing rates or maximum borrowing amount for those that are going into those types of fields are increased a bit. But I think at the beginning, it's going to be pretty much a level playing field.
And that's based on how long you're going to school. So someone who's going to go all the way through med school is going to be in school longer than, say, for instance, someone who's going to school to be a teacher.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the person who's going to med school is going to eventually qualify for a higher debt or a higher level of financial aid versus someone who's on track for a 4-year degree. And then, that ends. That's their stopping point.
Talk about the payback at the end of it all.
There's lots of opportunities depending on someplace you work or the field you're going into. Teaching, for instance, there's teach grants that if you work at certain schools that qualify at certain progress levels, you could possibly qualify to have some of your student loans repaid.
Really?
On your behalf.
Wow.
There's
And what's your end of
opportunities.
the deal? Do you have to stay in the school
You
district?
do. You sign a contract and a commitment to teach at that particular school for a period of time. Most states have programs like that. Florida has one. Georgia has one, last time I checked. So
Wow.
that's just an example. But there's
Seems
also
fair,
lots
yeah.
of businesses that you could work for that offer. We were talking about this earlier, that you can also work in education, and usually there's some kickback on covering the cost of tuition.
So I would think that a student looking for higher education would have to look at all these things: the cost, how you get the money, what to study, and of course what the salary will be when you're all done, right?
Sure.
What the likelihood is of even employment, and especially if you want to live in the area where you're living, you might have to move, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of colleges and universities look at the demand of the market. So, in Ocala at Webster University, we offer graduate degrees, and we only offer about 10 graduate degree programs because we only offer programs that are going to be used in the area. So we have a master's in counseling. It's a big deal here. We have masters in business, a lot of businesses here. But we don't offer a master's in, something else. Something else out of the way because it doesn't fit the market. And the same thing with CF, and I teach at CF often. They have a lot of great programs specific for this area, like logistics and agribusiness, and those types of things, fit the Ocala market perfectly. So that'll help hopefully keep those students here to become productive citizens in our area.
Mm-hmm. You said agribusiness. Was that the one you said fits us perfectly?
And there's equine
You would think
studies.
that would be a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty outstanding opportunities here for the community.
But in general, and gosh, and don't get mad at me, anybody, but it seems like the people who work on the horse farms don't make much money. So I don't know that. I mean, owning a horse farm is the only way it seems to make money, right?
I would say probably maybe look into that a little further. I think it's just kind of like the service industry. The higher level you are, the more income you're going to make. The equine business is kind of the same. There are certainly some jobs that don't pay as well as others, but the programs at CF are pretty outstanding in teaching you business and some other facets. I don't have all the information on that program, but it's. I think they can go to the website and.
So is the money available if you're not taking courses for a career? Like, let's say I owned a horse farm. I just want to understand this whole science of equine.
Maybe particularly help you run your business better. But what I see at CF and at Webster, I've met a number of, say, horse jockeys or trainers.
Right.
And they're going to school. They're going, in the evening or part-time. Because at some point, their bodies are going to wear out a little bit. That's a really physically intense job.
Looks like it, yeah.
And they're gearing up to do something else or something different. And oftentimes those degrees may get them into the position where they could be a manager or a supervisor or something in a purchasing and there's even logistics when you're shipping animals and taking them to sales. And I mean, there's
Fly United. They kill dogs. They send them to Japan.
It's awful. I know, but there's so many facets. There's so many facets to that industry that we don't really understand because HITS is in town. What is HITS?
Right.
What what did they talk about? A $2.7 billion economic impact of the horse industry.
I know.
So there's all these little sub jobs and things that we're not in the business. You meet someone that has horses, you're like, oh great.
Sure. Yeah.
But But I think that there's a lot of opportunity in that market, and eventually, even for our market to grow and expand and bring other horse-related or equine-related businesses, it's nice to have those educated individuals. The same thing with logistics. I mean, over the last 2 years, AutoZone, FedEx, Chewy, which is just fun to say. They're bringing those logistics centers, and they're hiring a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that will give them the potential to move up within those organizations.
Yeah. So,
but
like a business degree, that kind of thing.
Sure. When you're looking at going to college, you may want to go for art because that's your interest, but you also want to look at the outlook as far as a career. So you might want to go, and I think we talked about this once, maybe graphic design would be a great option if you like art, because that's something that's practical. A lot of businesses use graphic designers. You could be hired.
That's one of our leading programs at
Is it
the
really?
University of Central Florida, our digital media, and we have graphic arts and character animation at our new downtown campus. And
great.
It's a huge emerging media program, and it's we're filling seats, and there's job opportunities. I mean, we have a large connection in Orlando with Disney, so there's that opportunity as well. So you asked earlier about how schools decide kind of what they offer or how that impacts the community, and every school is going to take a look at their community and kind of figure out, and that's part of the accreditation process too, that we're all offering programs and degrees that positively support the economic surroundings in their community. So we're not going to produce graduates in a field if there's no jobs, there's no, that information comes back to us, and we alter things and change, and programs
and that's
transition
kind of
to something else.
What Patrick was talking about regarding the available money, I was just wondering if the money is made available only if there's an end career.
No, but I will add that you have to be in a degree-seeking or certificate-seeking
that would make
program,
sense, yeah.
To receive financial aid. If you just want to take a couple classes to, kind of,
Is it similar to how sometimes colleges will turn you down and then the next year they accept you? Is it like that? I mean, could you be turned down for a loan and then next year you get it?
Well, not only loans, but federal Pell Grants are based on income. And
grants, sorry.
Everybody's income changes year to year usually. So for the 17-18 FAFSA, we're looking at 2015 income. And for 18-19, we'll be looking at 2016 income.
Okay.
And so it's always based on income. So you might not qualify one year, but you may the next year. So that's why it always goes back to filling out the FAFSA.
Patrick, I know you have a welding program at the Citrus campus. Is it Citrus or Levy? At the Levy campus. If a student was doing that, is there any kind of financial aid or assistance that they can qualify for those kinds of programs?
It's a certificate program that is eligible for financial aid.
It is? Okay. I was just curious. So there's an opportunity. So if you have someone who's interested in a certification like welding, and they're not necessarily on a degree track, there's opportunities for them as well.
Which is a pretty high-paying
job
and very in demand, which is really interesting.
I happen to be married to a certified welder, and I can tell you, it's
my grandfather was a welder. That's how he raised his whole family. And I mean, it's a really interesting career, and to be able to get that and finance that, if you will.
Sure, yeah. Do you want to take phone calls? If we can make the opportunity available. Nobody's calling in right now,
okay,
but
if someone calls, we'll talk to them.
All right, the number is 622-9622. If you don't want to call here, you might want to call the schools, right?
Yes.
And
sure.
Just call each individual school for the one that you're interested in, I guess, right?
Well, my office, the University of Central Florida UCF Connect campus, is located. We actually run a space over at the University Center at CF. So when they call CF, they can ask for the UCF office, and they can reach us.
Okay.
And that number is 854-2322, extension 1824. But they can get just the standard operator to figure out who they need to talk to by calling 854-2322.
Yeah. And at Webster University, you can reach us locally at 352-861-9330 or at webster.edu.
Patrick, give that website again that you mentioned earlier.
Well, we could be reached at Ask Financial Aid at cf.edu.
Oh, okay.
That's usually the easiest way to
So
contact us.
catchy.
Nice.
And the FAFSA was
FAFSA.ed.gov.
.ed.g. Okay,
you're-
that
Really
makes
important
sense.
there at that one, because there's another site where they make you pay to do the application, and that is a scam.
Stay away from that one.
Stay away
Remember,
from
it's
it.
the free application.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! So if you forget it and you Google it, the paid one probably comes up
It
on top of the
will.
list
It will, so you have to remember it's
They're
the-
paying.
because they pay. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, someone went to school for that, hopefully. So
Right.
there's something there, a little
Yeah.
benefit. But are we taking a break, or we can are we
We
good?
can take a break. Want to take a break?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala. We'll be right back.
Embark on a magical night at the Appleton Museum of Art on Saturday, April 14th from 6 till 9 p.m. Follow your book of enchantment around the museum for unicorn carriage rides, magic shows, mermaids, artwork that comes to life, and more. Make mythical art in the art space and enjoy refreshments. Family ticket packages start at $35 for museum members and $50 for non-members. Individual tickets also are available. For details and to purchase tickets, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Life South encourages you to share the love this winter by sharing life through blood donation. The winter season is always a difficult time to collect enough blood to keep local hospitals stocked. So embrace the giving spirit and give the greatest gift of all this year. Give life. Your blood donation could help save as many as 3 patients at your local hospitals. Visit lifesouth.org for more information and locations. Share the love. Share life. Give blood.
Why not serve a delicious, intimate, and very easy dinner from Honey Baked Ham of Ocala? They have about the best ham produced ever, and turkey breast or beef pot roast or pork roast.
I thought they just served whole or half hams or turkeys that you picked up at Thanksgiving or Christmas.
They have so much more. They have a cafe and do all kinds of hot and cold catering. They'll do most of the work while you get all of the credit.
Where are they?
Southwest 27th Avenue, right behind Best Buy. Give them a call at 861-0011.
All right, 26 minutes after 10 o'clock. Let's return to higher education happenings. Mike Fallon is here with Crystal Flynn and Patrick Hoffman. We're talking about ways to get money for college. And in just a couple of minutes left, I want to make sure that we don't forget to say something. Mike, if
Sure.
you can.
Well, we want to talk a little bit about maybe a non-traditional student. Maybe they're working and they want to go back to school. You know, how do you pay for college then? Well, of course, you would still fill out the FAFSA. You may be eligible for loans or grants or scholarships, but oftentimes employers will help with college. So a lot of employers have tuition reimbursement programs. So I don't know, some of you know that I worked for Home Depot for 8 years, and during that time I went to undergrad and grad school, and they paid for half per year. And there was a cap of about $5,000, but it paid for half, and it was a really good ride for me because I was working full time, they were accommodating my school schedule, and they were helping me pay for it. And some employers have a commitment, some don't. It just really depends on who you're working with. But then you can also think about employer incentive plans, employer discount programs. So oftentimes there may be a program in place between a school and a corporation where they incentivize those employees by giving them a discount as well. So a 10% discount or 20% discount. We have a corporate partnership program with a lot of different banks in town, like Bank of America and Wells Fargo, where they get a 20% tuition discount. And then those employers give them reimbursement.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're really saving. And the idea with the employer reimbursement is to grow those employees and retain them longer. And maybe they'll stay and maybe they'll go, but
Sure,
you'll get
yeah.
a highly productive employee that's
Yeah.
well educated,
Yeah.
at least for a period of time there.
And with more education, they can transition higher and higher within the organization, and that's success for everybody all around.
Absolutely, yeah. Retention.
But there's other mechanisms you can use to pay for school. For instance, for veterans, there are lots of different kinds of veterans benefits. I'm not a veterans benefits expert. I know enough just to get me in trouble. But the basics are, if you are a vet, you know you have benefits. Your veterans benefits coordinator can talk to you about that. If you haven't used them, they do exhaust at a certain point. They do kind of expire. But if you don't use them, in some cases they can be passed on to others in your family, like your children, for instance. So if it's not something you took advantage of, there could be a possibility that your kids could use that and help to pay for school. There's also scholarships that are related to certain fields, engineering and math and things like that. There's special scholarships because we desperately need folks to go into those fields to be the teachers and the scientists and the researchers. And then there's other things like Bright Futures and
Yeah, the state and federal governments are making efforts to get students in and out of school easier and quicker, so they could get into the fields. The federal government is now offering Pell Grants, 150% of Pell Grants instead of their traditional 100%, meaning that a student can get 3 full-time semesters of Pell Grant instead of just 2. And the state is now offering Bright Futures during the summer semester, which they haven't in the past. So other areas to help pay for college during the summer terms.
Patrick, thank you for coming in. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Crystal, good to see you.
Yes, you
Tina,
too.
good to see you over there. And Mike, thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This is WOCA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump says now he's considering a veto of the spending bill passed